You know? What can be unburdened by what has been.
What can be unburdened by what has been.
What can be unburdened by what has been.
What can be
Unburdened by what has been.
what we can see, what we believe can be, unburdened by what has been. What can be unburdened by what has been.
What can be unburdened by what has been. What can be unburdened by what has been.
What can be unburdened by what has been.
Who we can be unburdened by who we have been.
What can be unburdened by what has been. Where we can be, unburdened by where we have been, and unburdened by where we are right now.
What can be unburdened by what has been.
What can be unburdened by what has been.
What can be unburdened by what has been.
What could be unburdened by what had been.
What can be unburdened by what has been.
What can be unburdened by what has been. What can be unburdened by what has been.
What can be unburdened by what has been.
What can be unburdened by what has been.
Unburdened by what has been, believing in what can be.
What can be unburdened by what has been.
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 What could be unburdened by what had been.
What can be unburdened by what has 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 been.
What can be, what should be unburdened by what has been.
What can be unburdened by what has been.
What can be unburdened by what has been. See what can be unburdened by what has been.
What can be unburdened by what has been.
What can be unburdened by what has been. Unburdened by what has been and knowing what can be. Have a sense of vision about what can be unburdened by what has been. To see what can be unburdened by what has been. What can be unburdened by what has been. What can be unburdened by what has been. What could be unburdened by what had been. What can be unburdened by what has been.
What can be unburdened by what has been.
Where we can be unburdened by where we have been. What was possible unburdened by what has been. What can be unburdened by what has been.
What can be unburdened by what has been.
What can be unburdened by what has been. What can be unburdened by what has been.
What can be unburdened by what has been.
What can be unburdened by what has been.
What can be unburdened by what has been.
What can be unburdened by what has been.
What can be unburdened by what has been.
That can be unburdened by what has been. There are those who are unable to see what can be, but there are many more who are able to see what can be unburdened by what has been.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are witnessing in real time a Planned Parenthood bus at the DNC in Chicago providing abortions to a predominantly black community. As you can see, black women getting on and off of this bus during this small clip. And this is from the party that says Black Lives Matter. Well, apparently Black Lives Matter until a black woman gets pregnant. Again, like I said, none of these at the border. Human sacrifice at the DNC.
How different is this moment now as opposed to 2016 with Hillary? Well, I think the fact that it's a black woman is different. You know what I'm saying? This is something that America never dreamed really about and never thought about the possibility of. And so, yes, Hillary was a woman and had women behind her, black women, white women, hoping that she could be president. But to have a black, capable, competent woman whose career has led us to this point, who has done everything anybody could have told her that she should have done in order to get to this point in her life, in our lives, it's different. And it's inspiring, it's motivational, and it's like, you can sit back and you can watch it and you can say, yeah, we knew that someday it might happen, but we weren't sure. But we're going to keep on fighting for it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm Kate Cox, and I love being a mom. I have two beautiful children, and my husband and I have always wanted a third. But when I got pregnant, doctors told us our baby would never survive. And if I didn't get an abortion, it would put a future pregnancy at risk. But Trump didn't care. And because of his abortion bans, I had to flee my home. There's nothing pro-family about abortion bans. There's nothing pro-life about letting women suffer and even die. Today, because I found a way to access abortion care, I am pregnant again. Thank you. And my baby is due in January, just in time to see Kamala Harris sworn in as President of the United States.
First speaking to you as the President of the Black Catholics United Against Abortion, we do believe that more than anything else, abortion is racism. It is a way of pruning, if you will, the black population. In 1973, shortly after the civil rights struggle, when there were more benefits for the black people, all of a sudden we were given this free thing from the Society of America, abortion. 78% of your free abortion clinics were placed in black and urban areas for the purpose of something free of charge from a racist society. As to put it in words of one pro-abortionist, we don't need so many Negroes anymore. There's no more cotton to pick. So with these feelings about black people, this was one way of doing it as a social benefit, if you will. We're here to help you. Black women, and let it be stated, black women never demonstrated, demanded, or even requested the right to an abortion. We've been asking for the right to decent housing, the right to education, in fact, the right to health care. And all we've been given free of charge is the right to kill our unborn child. We are still struggling for equal opportunity. If a black woman walks into a hospital and says she is in need of some sort of medical care, she would be turned away unless she has Medicaid or Blue Cross or or Medicare. But if she asks for an abortion, there are no questions. We will be glad to kill the baby in your womb. It is demeaning to the black woman because when you wanted us, in other words, when we were on the plantation, you snatched the newborn baby from my arms and sold it into slavery. Today, you cut it out of the womb and throw it in the garbage or use it for human experimentation. Let it be known that over 80% of black Americans are against abortion on demand. Let it be known that black women never requested, demanded, nor demonstrated for abortion. Yes, some black legislators believe that if white women have it, black women want it. They don't know black women.
And when Congress passes a bill to restore reproductive freedom, as President of the United States, I will proudly sign it into law.
You are traveling with the OM Mystic. Time to tap in now. You are now Mystic. Your favorite mystic's favorite mystic. Your favorite astrologer's favorite astrologer.
Peace to the tribe, peace to the collective, man. It's the Hood Mystic here with another video. And it is my birthday, but in reference to the children that weren't able to come into existence for whatever reason, they don't even get to celebrate a birthday. So my heart goes out to all of the children, all of the people, men and women, boy and girl, who suffer for some odd reason, for anyway, because in this life that I've lived, I've experienced a lot of great things, a lot of wonderful things, a lot of beautiful things. I didn't have the perfect family. I didn't have the perfect upbringing, but what I did have was life. And life is something that is a gift. That's why when we are in the moment, it's called being present. Okay. So, with that being said, I just wanted to expound on a topic that I've been paying attention to for a long time. I've been looking for podcasts and articles and videos about the subject, and I really don't find it. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, figured I'll do my own. But this is probably going to be a point in time where I'm realizing, this is the day that I was born, but what does it truly matter? Right. And not to throw shade on nothing. I appreciate the love. I appreciate, people that's, sending me well wishes. But at the end of the day, it's just another day. And as Black people, we need to differentiate demonic energy versus holistic, spiritual, soul led energy. It's demonic to celebrate your birthday, even to the point where you are a soul. That is the fact. That is the truth. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. The birthday traps you in to the 3D. And not to be too deep, but just to be real with people, you fare better by not celebrating your birthdays. I used to think it was something was wrong when I didn't have a surprise birthday party and stuff like that. But when I look at myself, I realize, I kept my youth by not even really caring about that type of stuff. And this year is no different. I'm no longer going to keep up with the years. Like, a person might ask me how old I am. I'm just like, man, I don't even know for real. I'm just existing in the world in this moment and enjoying it. And so part of my work is to fight against demonic entities and demonic energies. The problem that I feel with people in reference to spirituality is that they don't differentiate the demons from the angels. They don't differentiate the supportive spirits versus the destructive spirits. Irony is that most spiritual people don't even deal with spirits at all. So you're a spiritual person, you don't actually believe in spirits, but you find yourself crashing out. You find yourself struggling financially, struggling in love, mental illness, mental anguish, not being able to have the life that you truly want, even if it looks good on the surface. Internally, you breaking down, you burning, you don't know left from right, you don't have no real security in this world. And one of those main reasons why, from my observation, is that people do not understand the difference between being under possession and tuning in and tapping into your soul. So this is why I show up on these platforms to talk about things that people are either scared about or don't know about. Today we talking about the Democratic Party and their infatuation with demonic entities. And the entity that we're discussing specifically is the entity Moloch. When you look at politicians, when you look at the government, these are, you can call them human beings, but like Kendrick Lamar say, they not like us. These entities or human beings or people are tuned in and tapped in to negative demonic energies and entities. And it has been like this for a very long time in prehistory. There's always been a group of people that work with specific entities. And what is the job of these entities and demonic energies? To keep you away from God, keep you away from your soul, keep you away from source. And the way that they do that is by revving up the sexual energy, revving up the drugs, but the drugs lead to sex. Drugs lead to sex, leads to babies. Babies, you try to take care of them the best you can, but a lot of times, if the situation is, if you can afford it, a lot of times a woman would just go get an abortion just so she don't have to deal with the facts of, I'm a single mother. I got a child out of wedlock. I don't even know who this man is. I don't know his name, his social security number. I don't know his phone number, but here I am with a baby. That's the way that it goes in the way of the in this world. So you can't, from my perspective, like it would be a guy, most guys really ain't shit, especially if they want to have sex with you. Don't deal with those types of guys, because if you end up pregnant, if you end up in a serious situation, they are not going to be there to support you. And of course, because we don't have the structure, family, society, culture that does everything in its power so you don't crash out, guess what we do? We crash out. And then when we crash out, the demons or the negative spiritual entities, they can feed off of your negative emotions surrounded by having an abortion. See, if you have an abortion, you don't have to tell nobody you had an abortion. You the same girl. But what you don't tell anybody is those negative emotions you feel in reference to, damn, my baby ain't here. My baby would have been 10 years old today. You know, and on a spiritual level, that baby have a soul. So it's crazy when you having dreams and your baby is there. And it's like you can't expect Planned Parenthood to be in this world to assist you as a spiritual being. And if you do, you haven't done your research. And when you have a political party that is a conglomerate, a plutocracy, a group of people that control this country, and they don't care, and this is not pro-Trump, but they don't care about us. And the reason that they don't care about us is because they're able to win at a game that they have no chance in winning. See, when you tune in and tap into your spiritual nature, you become something that's so powerful, a demon don't even stand a chance. But when you don't understand and overstand who you are at a spiritual level, these demons run your life. Pornography is a demonic stronghold. It's a lot of men, you know, that they don't really even care because they can get on their phone, type in a couple of words, and they gets to jacking off. That masturbation is a demonic attachment. Every ejaculation you have is demonic entities feeding off of your semen. Enough semen, which is the aura. See, every human has an aura. Every sperm cell have an aura. And depending on your aura, you could feed these entities or you could starve these entities based upon what we talk about in Blue Magic. I just turned it in. So we're gonna be sending that out in the next couple of weeks. But in reference to developing a strong relationship with your soul, you will not be able to feed these entities. And there's so many people that don't do research, that don't do knowledge, that don't actually understand who they are. They fall right into the trap. You got to understand that the Democratic Party is 100% about black people, because the people that are not black people, that are Democrats, are soulless vessels being pulled by demons. So when you want to be a Democrat, when you want to support a Democrat, it's literally demon crack. This is literally a demonocracy. Now, you can say that, but you got to be able to point out the demon to say, all right, that makes a lot of sense. And I'm here to point out the actual demon Moloch. So this was developing. This was interesting. When I first heard it, I did not believe it, but it turned out to be true. Free abortions being offered outside the DNC could land Planned Parenthood in trouble with the IRS. What a dark and somewhat goofy message that the DNC is sending, pro-life group says. A pro-life group filed an IRS complaint against Planned Parenthood, claiming that its deployment of a mobile abortion van offering free services near the Democratic National Convention violated its nonprofit status this week. The organization, 40 Days for Life, exclusively shared the findings. Targeting political parties and candidates with free abortions and other in-kind gifts is strictly prohibited by the IRS. Alongside the filing was what a dark and somewhat goofy message that the DNC is sending. It's not dark and it's not goofy. This is regular. This is regular. And see, and I see it clear, and most people won't see it, you know? Because when you really into this science, when you really into this occult ritualistic way of life, they don't expect black men to be doing the rituals and to be showing up at their parties on the spiritual side of things, because it's nothing that these people can do to close you out, because you are the original people and you are so powerful. It's so normal for them what they're doing that we cannot be surprised who and what the enemy looks like. Once again, I'm not pro Trump. I'm not pro government. I'm just anti demonic entity that really, without a shadow of a doubt, wants to destroy melanated people, melanated souls. We were the ones that just so happened to make it out, because a lot of us come from broken homes, single parent households. Probably some of our mothers probably have an abortion, meaning that it could have been you. A lot of us have that oh, you was a mistake type of energy. I just was a little horny. One's in the chat, if you know like your mom and dad was a little horny, they wasn't married and prepared for you to enter into life. Meaning that when they got pregnant, they was thinking like, damn, what should we do about this situation? And albeit you probably gave them hell, you made it to a point to whereas you can now fight for yourself, which is a blessing. But now that all of that's being said, what begins to be your purpose once you start to realize, okay, I'm a spiritual being having a human experience. What is the root or the core of my experience? Well, guess what's happening? It's a war that's being taken place on multiple levels. It's an astral war, which then creates the physical war. And the war that's taking place is a war that creates ignorance in us. So we don't read, we don't study, we just in our own life, in our own bag. And then when shit start to happen, we like, damn, this is ironic. This is a chance. This is a coincidence. But why, out of all policies, the border, the economy, people don't have nowhere to live, homelessness is crazy, the DNC does not want to talk about that. They don't want to talk about helping you. The Democrats have been in power since Bill Clinton, if you want to be honest. The whole 90s into the 2010s, it's 2024. We know what we know what they care about. They want to destroy black people, and let's not act like it's a government and it's a democratic process, because the last election was stolen. And you can't be ignorant to say that people actually voted for Joe Biden at a mass level. So why is it that this party, abortion, is the priority? Not in philosophy or policy, but in action. Like, they letting you know that this is what we about. And I heard Kamala's speech last night. She made sure to talk about it. She never said nothing about black people. She didn't identify as black. You could look at her husband and her kids to say, no, that's not a black woman. So all of this identity politics, the Democrats don't even care about that. They more or less concerned about abortion. And it's not like it's something that they actually care about. It's because they need child sacrifices. Because that's what they demonic stronghold wants for them. And because we just want to watch TV and have fun, we don't understand it's some wicked people in this world, because they are dealing with possession. And you have to actually understand possession in a way to recognize if you possess. Because you will come to a situation where good things is taking place in your life and you will mess it up. You will sabotage it. It won't work out the way you want to work out. You will find yourself doing drugs, being addicted to sex, nothing going right for you, in a dark place right now, in a dark ass place, and you don't know nothing about possession. You like, I need to get some money. You like, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, I gotta go up, I gotta go down. No, you gotta shake them demons off of you. Shake them haters off. Shake them haters off. We are going to do abortions as a part of our convention and brag about it. We have never seen a political party, frankly, a candidate, celebrate abortion as the number one issue. Women's rights is women's rights, and I value and prioritize women's rights. When a woman get pregnant, however, My kid's body, my son's body is not my body. I cannot do anything to my son. If I do anything to my son under law, I can be charged. And that's just the way it is. Our children are not our possessions. We are just vehicles for our children. Children are God's children. This is why I can grow up in a broken home and still make something of myself. My dad never gave a fuck about me. To the degree of how I'm living my life, my mother never gave really a fuck about me, for real. If you want to get down to the brass tacks of it, because not to not to blame anybody, but it's a way that you can live and actually prepare and help your kid grow and know what life have to deal with. And the best mom in the world is going to have to delegate that to a masculine energy if the dad is not there. Most women will love their children but not prepare them for the real world. So if you don't prepare your child for the real world, you might love them with all your heart. To a certain degree, you have failed them. And a lot of times parents know they failed their kids. That's why they don't kick you out the house. According to the following, these actions by Planned Parenthood openly advertise and provide free services from nonprofit entities to participants of and a direct relation to a nationwide political party for one party and certain political candidates. These actions clearly are and or suggest direct or implicit endorsements of a certain party platform and candidates. You know they all in bed together. So I was looking online to see if this is just my assumption, because this whole women's rights abortion thing, it feels like offerings to Molech. It's a fourfold process. You know what I mean? It's a fourfold process. One second. Meditation, for one, but meditation is a combination of concentration, visualization, tied in to exercise, tied in to action and implementation, and finally, ritual. The reason why you want to do rituals is because the demonic entity is ushered into your subconscious, into your aura through rituals. Whenever you go to a concert and it's a set list, it's an order to it. Nobody cares if you bob in your head or like the music. They just want you to come into a space, put down your psychic defenses, raise your emotions so you can create the trauma. And this trauma is just something that creates a before and after. So it's like, man, I had a great time at this concert. Well, what that does, it allows a demonic entity, a spiritual parasite, to rest within your aura. So many youth mindlessly listen to music and just sit around and emote, right? They feel bad for feeling bad. You gotta raise your emotional frequency to the point. So, like, just imagine this is how I really do view it without a shadow of a doubt. At the lower vibratory frequencies, let's just say water, fish can survive. But if you wanted to kill a fish, the best thing to do is just take it out of water. It's nothing that fish can do when you take it out of water. When it's underwater, That fish can do all types of shit to your ass. But when you raise your frequency beyond sea level, these entities, they cannot vibrate or attach to a high vibratory frequency. And a person that is so pure of mind, so pure of heart, food, exercise, education, implementation, from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to sleep, you active in your mission. You active in your purpose. These entities can't slow you down. What tends to happen, you work the whole time you at work, you in a negative vibratory frequency because you don't want to be there for one, but you gotta be there to survive. Fear. Fear creates the energy. Doubt creates the energy. Shame creates the energy. Guilt creates the energy. It's like being in the water. At a certain point, meditation, spiritual development, you say, I'm a pure spirit. I ain't none of the shit that I did. I ain't none of the shit I was. Man, I was a fucking low life criminal. I'm going to just put that out there. A low life criminal that couldn't get right. So when I talk from my perspective, I talk from a perspective of being at the bottom. Like my neighborhood was literally called the Bottoms. I had kids and everything. I had to stop selling Percocets, stop selling weed, stop selling drugs, and figure out a way. I did deep meditation. I did deep rituals with Urzuli. I got this scholarship to a school to learn IT. I got into the IT class. A month into the IT class, I got a job. But the job started teaching me about tech, like Slack, just like multiple screens, just how to be studious when it came to like technology. The job I excelled at, I was very good at, but I was able to multitask and build my Hood Mystic platform by learning the tech side of it. So from me doing deep ritual, I got in a class, I got a job, but the class and the job was to help me develop my business. Cause once I figured that part out, I started implementing the Slack. If y'all remember the platform where we was in the Slack days, we was all linking, coming together, and that really helped grow me and a lot of different people. Started brainstorming, started working towards stuff, started putting my books out, started building my website, just started building. But like not too long ago, I was at the bottoms. But I wasn't at the bottoms because the world hated me. I was at the bottoms because of the way that I emoted towards life. And sometimes you can do all of the learning, all of the listening, and all of the shit that you want to do. But I'm telling you, when you start doing deep ritual, you raise your frequency beyond the sea level. And when you go beyond the sea level, these entities cannot attach to your aura no matter what you do. You cannot help but to shake these motherfuckers off. But it takes a active pursuit, and it takes a warrior spirit. Working with Shango really helped me, in the space of like drawing axes. I was really into like drawing axes, meditating on axes, really seeing my energy as Shango. And he was very strong with removing obstacles. Shango, Ganesha, good entities to work with. So yeah, that's a good question. But stay on the path, stay on it, because you don't see spirits, you don't hear spirits. They're not making themselves known. They're invisible, they're quiet, but you know when you are possessed by your emotional emotation. I just made that word up. It felt good, so I went with it. Whatever you emoting energetically, emotionally, that's the truth. If I walked up into rooms and everybody's like, Kyrie, you're so amazing, you're so great, that's not the truth. A lot of people will look at that and think Kyrie is amazing, Kyrie is great, but the reality is your greatness is so tied in to your occult ritual, so you can understand who you are at a spiritual level and be on your path, be unstoppable, be indestructible, knowing from the moment you wake up to the time you go to sleep, you either providing value to other people or making yourself valuable. This is how we win. This is how we succeed as a people. But if we keep, acting like these shits don't exist, we'll be right where we started at all points. So I thought that maybe I was the only one who thought that the Democrats may worship Moloch, but I found somebody else who thought it. Pastor Robert Jeffries praised Donald Trump in an interview as the most pro-religious liberty president in the country, suggesting that Democrats might worship pagan god of the Old Testament Moloch, who he added allowed for child sacrifice. And so this goes deep with the Democrats, right? Because when you talk about it, the biggest thing, that went down in like 2018, 2019 was Jeffrey Epstein. And Jeffrey Epstein was this rich person that was flying young children to and fro all over the world to his island. And they say sex, but I think it was much more sinister than that. I think it was child sacrifices. And that's what makes this thing so sensational. That's what makes it so interesting, is because certain people, I know I'm not the only person that see this demon and fight this demon. I know I'm not the only person. So of course they strive to fight and take him out. And whether they did or they didn't, maybe he faked his death or whatever, the fact remains Jeffrey Epstein, a billionaire hedge fund manager, Epstein lured underage girls to his Palm Beach mansion to partake in a network of sexual exploitation. But Epstein donated $139,000 to Democratic federal and only $18,000 to Republicans. All of this to say, when I want to get something done, or I want to be illegal, or if I want to be a criminal, guess what I got to do? Donate some money to these people. That's the game. So I'm sure he's not the only one, but there are a lot of different people in this world that are tuned in and tied in to demons. And they can be your wife, they can be your husband, they can be your mom, they can be your dad, they can be your kids. But the ways that people set up their life, they ain't ready to have these conversations, and it's okay. But can you look at a person and talk to a person and give them the real, and they not going to lose their shit or look at you crazy? Can they just handle the truth? Can they just handle reality? Hell no. You start putting the reality in front of people's faces, they start looking at you like you crazy. In the interview, Jeffries, who's been a long staunch supporter of Trump, rallied against the Democrats in Congress for launching an impeachment inquiry to the president after he asked President Zelensky about looking into former President Joe Biden, which is a crazy situation, right? Joe Biden and his son was on the boards of Ukraine. So they always be talking about how his son smoked crack, and that could be true. But the facts of the matter is this: Hunter Biden was a member in some businesses in Ukraine. According to Biden, neither of the investing firms knew of the probe into Burisma's top executive. Biden said the UK unfroze the executive accounts. I did not drill down to determine whether or not Zolewski acquired his wealth fairly, dating to decades of kleptocracy and corruption that dated back to when Ukraine was a former Republic of Soviet. The Biden Ukraine conspiracy theory is a series of false allegations that Joe Biden, while he was vice president of the United States, improperly withheld a loan guarantee and took a bribe to pressure Ukraine into firing Prosecutor General Viktor Shaktin to prevent a corruption investigation of Ukrainian gas company to protect his son, Hunter Biden, who is on the Burisma board. So once again, this could be false, but you know it's not false. When Biden became president, how much money did Biden send to Ukraine? If it's just so false and so fake, Biden sent over 95 billion war aid, but didn't give $1 billion homelessness crisis. Didn't give $1 billion to help people get vehicles so they can get back and forth to work. Didn't do nothing for us in this country. Opened up the border, gave people thousands of dollars so they can buy food in your face, can have housing in your face. And and one would say this is messed up, and it is messed up. But at one level, you can't do nothing about it. At a second level, you can reverse all of this shit. If we start fighting them, wanting to go to war and deal with it in this legality way, they gonna mollywop our ass. That's why MLK, Malcolm X, Patrice Lumumba, spiritual masters, strong shamans, but couldn't really get the job done because they don't know how to fight spirit with spirit. You know, somewhere they say you got to fight fire with fire. So if they're gonna fight spiritually, why don't we fight spiritually? So who is Moloch though? What is it? Moloch, Molech, or Molech is a word which appears in the Hebrew Bible several times, primarily in the book of Leviticus. The Bible strongly condemns practices that are associated with Moloch, which are heavily implied to include child sacrifice. Moloch has been understood as referred to a Canaanite god. The Hebrew word MLK, which is crazy, right? MLK, Martin Luther King, right? Martin Luther is a Protestant priest that started the Protestant Revolution that separated from the Catholic Church. It show you that Martin Luther King, that's all ritual too. Because the real of the civil rights was to pull black people out of integration. I mean, out of segregation into integration. That's why Martin Luther King said, "Man, I think I've indoctrinated my people into a burning house." This is how Martin Luther King felt about it at the end of it all. I fear I'm integrating my people into a burning house. Now I want y'all to use y'all big brains. MLK, they know what MLK stand for. And ain't no black person, no black man with a black family. Dr. Martin Luther King, that ain't even his original name. What's Martin Luther King's birth name. Bro name was Michael Luther King Jr., but had later changed his name to Martin. Whenever they do that, man, that's CIA. That's FBI. That's government. Because when was the last time your name was John and you changed it to James? What sense do it make? So, of course, they playing. The Hebrew word MLK is identical with spelling it to a term that means sacrifice. What was Martin Luther King? Martin Luther King was a sacrifice. A sacrifice for what? A sacrifice for doing a damn good job. At the end of the day, that's why his statues and roads with his name, because it's only one game. Destroy the original people. Keep the original people away from God so we can control them, manipulate, and run through this world without them ever having nothing going on for themselves. Have them fight amongst each other. Have them kill their babies. Right? You couldn't get a black woman to love you if you tried. You couldn't get a black man to love you if you tried. Go out and just go get you a random black person. Y'all gonna go out and date a random black person? No. I mean, not to say black people is bad, but you gonna have your third eye open when they come talk to you like, hey baby, what's up? What's your name? Because we know what it is. This thing is rough. And the reason that it's rough, I'm gonna tell you why. I already said it before, but I'm gonna say it again. Demonic possession in a space where you don't even realize demonic possession is taking place. This second position has grown increasingly popular, but it remains contested. So let's go to supremecourt.gov. Supremecourt.gov. When I see Kamala Harris, she seems like a daughter of Margaret Sanger. Many of y'all don't know who Margaret Sanger is, but let's just say she's a top level female occultist and work with Moloch one-on-one. And the thing about Planned Parenthood from the beginning was in reference to black people. That's why 78% of abortion clinics is in black neighborhoods. I guarantee you either know a woman who had an abortion, had a C-section, or a hysterectomy. You probably know somebody that had all three. And it's not because something was wrong with their body, something was wrong with their future. No, it's high level mind control, magical rituals to just make you be a crash out. They want to feed you chicken, pork. They injecting different shit in the chicken now, injecting different shit in the beef. And what a black person gonna say? I don't care. It's good though. The Negro Project, instigated in 1839 by Margaret Sanger, was one of the first major undertakings of the new Birth Control Federation of America. The Birth Control Federation of America, it eventually becomes Planned Parenthood. The product of a merger between the American Birth Control League and Sanger's Birth Control Clinical Research Bureau, and one of the more controversial campaigns of the birth control movement, developed by white birth control reformers who consulted with African Americans for help in promoting the project only well after its inception. So this is the part in the video where I say what we colloquial say in black communities. All skin folk is not kinfolk. because what gas people up to get abortions is not going to be the Caucasoid or the European. What's going to gas you up to get an abortion is going to be your damn mama. You 16, you get pregnant, what she going to say? You ain't about to have no baby in this house. She'll drive your ass down to the abortion clinic herself and sit in the car until you get done and take care of you when you get home. So you don't got to worry about Caucasoids ever coming in and saying this, that, and the third. No. They going to do what they going to do in reference to the people that look like you. That's why when they get into Kamala Harris is a black woman, I'm like, let her be a black woman. What the fuck do that mean, though? Do that mean that black people ain't going to sell you across the goddamn river? I love being black, but I can see sugar from shit. I understand that however you want to look at it, however you want to cut it, they weren't going to be able to enslave us if the whole black population in the world was going to ride for us. If they knew that they had to deal with every African nation on the continent of Africa, you can sit the whole United States in the Sahara Desert. The whole entire motherfucking state in the whole shit can fit in the Sahara Desert. So when we getting our ass kicked over here, when we ain't getting no support, when we don't got no infrastructure, no culture, no black society, who gonna come and save us? Not the Africans. But the Africans will show up in politics. The Africans will show up at your job with a supervisor position telling your ass what to do. And what the hell you going to do? You going to take instructions from somebody who don't even understand and know your struggle or even why you struggling. So we have a whole system created by white birth control reformers, and then they employ African Americans for help in promoting the project. So whether you're talking about Charlemagne, whether you're talking about Ricky Smiley, whether you're talking about Mark Lamont Hill, whether you're talking about D.L. Hughley, these are the African Americans that help promote the project. Why? Let's read further. Associated campaigns were, nevertheless, wildly supported by such black leaders as Mary McLeod Bethune, W.E.B. Du Bois, and Reverend Adam Clayton Powell Jr. This is a Hall of Fame. This is a Hall of Fame level of black people, the highest of the heights. But whenever you see an elevated black person that's talked about in their books, it's millions of black people. Let's just understand that. It's millions of black people. They only need 1,000 or so to just say, all right, this is what I want y'all to do. Let people think that they got a chance if they just play ball. If they just do what needs to be done, maybe they can get our foot off their ass a little bit. And out of the millions of oppressed, ignorant in the whole entire race, they can get 10,000 to tell you, oh man, all you got to do is go to a HBCU. What the hell is a HBCU? I've done this before, but let's do this again. Who is Spelman named after? Spelman College in Atlanta is named after Laura Spelman Rockefeller. You can go to hell with an HBCU. You could go to hell with an HBCU. Who is Howard University named after? Howard University in Washington, D.C. is named after Oliver Otis Howard, a Union general and Civil War hero, who was also the first commissioner of the Freedmen's Bureau. That's where all of our money is at that we never got access to. Once again, not a historically black person, but a historically black college. What's another? Brown University. Who is Brown University named after? Brown University is not, I don't think that's a HBCU. I'm sure 90% of these colleges that's named after people, Benedict College. That's where Bobby Hemmett went to. Mm. Benedict College in Columbia, South Carolina is named after Stephen and Bathsheba Benedict. Once again, not melanated people, not black people, but it's a HBCU. You can go to hell with that HBCU shit. It is not it is not the flex that you think it is. Trust me and believe me. There ain't even no such thing as a HBCU if you want to be honest about it. The only true teacher is God and nature. You ain't about to learn nothing in these institutions. All these institutions is going to do, they going to give you a degree. They going to give you some money, but they going to pull you so far away from God, you ain't going to know your asshole from your mouth and think it's crazy. It's I guarantee you, you probably got your ass ate more than you ever got kissed by a man. Who is Morehouse named after? Do this look like a melanated man to y'all? Henry Lyman Morehouse? You can go to hell with that. I go to a historically black HBCU, historically created by goddamn Rockefellers. That school ain't going to teach you nothing but how to get further and further away from God. You had your most freakiest experiences in them goddamn colleges. You ain't know your left nut from your right nut, but you sure was getting them. You went to school to get high, to get drunk, and have sex and be away from your damn mama. Let's just keep it a buck. It's gonna cost you $130,000, but hey, y'all gonna leave out there with a piece of paper. Y'all gonna be in the same boat as my ass is, cause ain't no jobs hiring your ass for nothing. You gonna get an entry level job. You got $150,000 to pay off, but you goddamn barely surviving. Also, you can have sex, drink, and and do drugs, and then talk about you went to a HBCU. Big fucking deal. How about you go to a college that was created by a black person next time? Oh, it ain't none? Damn, that sucks for us. What the hell? What is we gonna do? W.E.B. Du Bois? Listen, these are all Boule people, man. The Boule. And you gotta think about it, right? It's cool. But when we think about black people, it's basically exceptional men, right? A group of 4 medical doctors, 1 dentist, 1 pharmacist. And sometimes black people, you hear a black person say, "Oh, I'm a doctor." You ready to, get on your knees and suck cock. But the reality is this: what you gonna do as a doctor? Oh, you just giving people pharmacies, pharmaceuticals, synthesized plant medicine times 100 that's gonna have side effects. It I guarantee you got somebody in your family that's over medicated. One's in the chat if you know somebody in your family that's over medicated. They got a blood pressure pill, but the blood pressure pill it mess up their liver, so now they got to take a liver pill, but the liver pill give them high blood pressure pills, so now they got to take a high blood pressure pill. They got to take 7 pills because they doctor done told them that they need to take 7 pills. And now all of a sudden, as black people, we got to suck cock because a person say, "Oh, I'm a doctor." You can go to hell with that goddamn medical degree. You don't know shit about nutrition. You don't know shit about diet. You don't know shit about exercise. All you know is that you work for these demonic entities, pharmakia. You gonna give them some pills, take them pills, and after you take the pills, that's pretty much all she wrote. So these is our greatest people, the Boule members, right? W.E. Du Bois was Boule. And so you get these black people, you get these powerful quote unquote black people, and you tell them, all right, we want y'all to get abortions. Influenced strongly by both the eugenics movement and the progressive welfare programs of the New Deal, the Negro Project was from the start largely indifferent to the needs of the black community and constructed in terms with the perceptions today that smack of racism. So I'm saying all of this to say the roots of Planned Parenthood, which the Negro Project was one of the first major undertakings of Planned Parenthood. Okay, and into 2024, nearly 100 years, we have a president that is her number one policy, her number one priority is women's rights. And I understand women's rights. I'm for women's rights. I'm just not for abortion. I'm one of those weird human beings that want to separate women's rights, men's rights from abortion. Because abortion, at one level, right, I find that it's evil and despicable. But at a second level, if you really want an abortion, take the herbs, drink the concoctions, hurry up. If you feel like you're pregnant, start, and people will be like, what herb should I take? Google, type in the chat, man. Google is your friend. Can y'all put that in the chat? Google is your friend. And Amenagog, okay? An Amenagag, an Amenagage, an Amenagage. Amenagage is a substance that stimulates or increases menstrual flow. See, if you increase the menstrual flow, if you think you're getting pregnant, you will have a period, and you can't have a period and a baby at the same time. And you can onset this. It's a lot of herbs that you can begin to take. You just have to, once again, Google is your friend. Amenagages are herbs which stimulates blood flow in the pelvic area and the uterus. Some stimulate menstruation. Women use amenagages to stimulate menstrual flow when the menstruation is absent for reasons other than pregnancy. So if you would say in that first trimester where you have an implantation and you have early pregnancy symptoms, try it. It's not gonna hurt to try, and a lot of times it works. But you gotta take it. I would say having a certain level. I think I even have an article about it. I may have one. I'll post it in my Substack if I do. It's in the files. So, civil rights leader, educator Mary Bethune, right? She was a part of Roosevelt's Black Cabinet. I don't care about no politician. I for sure don't care about no black politician because that's not the flex that y'all think it is. This is the propaganda that they put out in the 1940s. National leaders agree that Planned Parenthood means better families. Do you understand that this is propaganda? So A. Philip Randolph, Dr. Mary Bacloon, Mrs. Estelle Riddle, Paul Corneli. These people are going around in the 40s handing out brochures and endorsing birth control early in the history of where we're at now. And all of this to say, these people, whether you know it or not, they did a damn good job. They did such a good job because now we're in a space where you probably know somebody that have an abortion. And I'm not holding nothing against nobody who had an abortion, but just understand that it's just not a surgical process. For one, is murder, and for two, it's a sacrifice to a demon. And I'm just letting y'all know that. I'm doing this on my birthday because last year in 2023, this came out March 19th, 2024. Despite bans, the number of abortions in the United States increased in 2023. Despite bans, the number of abortions in the United States increased in 2023. So I'm celebrating my birthday today. Happy that I'm supporting my birthday. But do you know 1 million children are not going to be able to celebrate their birthday for whatever reason? And if it's rape, if it's incest, if it's in reference to a woman losing her life and it's life or death, go ahead and do what you got to do. But let's be honest. Do you think 1 million people dealt with rape, incest, and life or death situations? Or was they just fucking on a Saturday night, got pregnant, and said, oops, let me go commit murder? Did 1 million people was in life or death situations and they had to get abortions? Or are we turning this into a luxury? When I see 1 million abortions in 1 year, that's not just an abortion. That's not just a murder. That is a sacrifice, a child sacrifice. Cause what degree would you say, all right, nobody would say 1 million children, right? Nobody would say 1 million kids. But if you say 1 million abortions, yeah, I have 5 kids. It's a certain point in time where in the first trimester, where they do an ultrasound, you hear a heartbeat. And that heartbeat is going to sustain that child the duration of their life. If an entity has a heartbeat, you can't kill it for personal reasons. And if you do, I'm not God, but for my opinion, that's sin. If you killed somebody, if you killed a child, that's a sin to me. It Every 1,000 women, 15 abortions take place. And when it was federally okay to have abortions, people did it more when they overturned Roe v. Wade. So what are y'all complaining about? Nobody is stopping you from having an abortion even to this day. Why is this an issue? Why is this a policy? From my observation of the spiritual realms, the deity or the demon rather is making it a policy, is making it be known, is putting a Planned Parenthood truck in front of the DNC and saying, come on, come one, come on. This is what we about, and this is what we on. 80% of all of these abortions, according to statistics, are melanated children. Because in order to take us all down, they got to be willing to take a few of their own down with them. That's how it worked. Because if it was ever a thing where it was all black kids, we would know something. They throw in some Spanish kids, some white kids, some other races. We think it's just this holistic thing. No, it's just us getting sacrificed to a demon. It's so pervasive when you talk about the music, when you talk about the entertainment, when you talk about the social media, when you talk about the porn. It's so pervasive. It's so everywhere. We so nonchalant about it. It's just an everyday thing for black people in certain communities. It's just normal. But that's why I put out videos to fight against the normalcy of insanity, right? And I just had a little bit of time. I just turned in the book Blue Magic, so it's got to go through its review process. Once it comes out of that review process, we're going to put it to print. So I said by September 11th, y'all going to have it at y'all houses. Probably before that, but September 11th at the latest. Thank y'all for everybody who pre-ordered, supported. But we're going to move into astrology courses, astrology talk. My next project, I'm about to redo how to read natal charts easily and effectively, and then put on a 4-day workshop where we go through planets, constellations, houses, aspects, and then finally put it all together. Is going to be, Q&A, what I'm saying, where we can all work on our charts together. And so some people have a difficult time processing how to read natal charts easily and effectively. Even with that being said, it's my most selling book. So I'm going to double back and do an astrology course for the month of September. So more details about that in the future. But you got to stay active. You got to stay on top of your projects. And with this one, I'm super excited because I'm really tuned in and tapped in to helping people understand their charts. And we're all going to be there together. But if you're interested, sign up early. You're going to get 50% off. The last 2 weeks or last week is going to be full price. So just different things that came to mind when I was working through Blue Magic. It was an idea like soon as I was finishing, like, what am I going to do next? And then that just came to mind. So I'm excited about that, excited about the platform. Be sure to join the Discord so we can continue these conversations. Stay tuned and tapped in. We're going to be working on some things with Shopify, with Ra. He got a website, cultivate.com. But I said, man, we should put this on display. We should build this up from the ground up so that people can see it, maybe inspire y'all to start y'all Shopify's, because the market is wide open. If you got a good product, if you got a good service, there's no reason to put yourself out there. But in the reference of doing this Blue Magic, we're going to get our money together too. So it's not all doom and gloom. And the reason that it's not all doom and gloom, because we got to know how to fight these demons, right? We can always be like, oh, happy-go-lucky, it's all good, it's all rainbows and cherries. And the whole time, the demon be kicking your motherfucking ass. You be jacking off 28 times a day. You know what I'm saying? Some of y'all got y'all own apartments just so y'all can get cracked without your mama knowing, right? You just got your own apartment just so you can have sex, right? Not even realizing you got a whole demon on your goddamn ass, right? But with all this being said, thanks y'all for y'all support. Y'all know if y'all click on these videos, you're going to get something raw. You're going to get something real, because I don't got no punches to hold back, because I speak in reference to God and nothing else. I give a fuck about a demon. I give a fuck about a negative entity that want to destroy my people. Just let them demons know that if it's up and it's stuck. Man, I'm the Hood Mystic with another video. Hope y'all enjoyed it. Like the video if you like it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed already. I will catch y'all on the flip side. Thank y'all for y'all support. If y'all really want to celebrate my birthday, hit up that Cash App. Shoot me a couple of dollars so I can get me a pizza or something, man. Peace, man. Y'all have a great day. Peace.
You are traveling with the OM Mystic. Time to tap in now. You are now tapped in with the OM Mystic. Your favorite mystic's favorite mystic. Your favorite astrologer's favorite astrologer.